Jeff, I know you're not big on looking too far in the past or in the future, taking things day by day, but how do you keep from letting when you're on a losing streak like this, keep it from festering in the locker room?
What you said to start, focus on what you can control, and that's learning from yesterday and then attacking today. That's all you can control. So that's how it doesn't fester. If you worry about things that are done in the past that you can't change, that puts stress on you and your body that you don't need. I just think that's in life, and so there's not one thing we can do about anything that's happened. What I think the other part of it is we're process oriented, and that's true of, I think, every coach and every team. And by being process oriented, you look at the process of it and you say, okay, how was the process last night? Well, the process last night was pretty good. We defended well. We checked hard. We were above them. We clogged up the neutral zone. We competed really hard. We had opportunities to score. We didn't get the result we wanted. But my question, to our group is, can you do that again? And can you do it again and again? I don't think there was anything extraordinary in the effort last night. It was just playing the right way and playing winning type hockey. So we're just trying to grow. And when you're trying to grow as a team and when you're trying to grow as individuals, you can't let the frustration of results get in the way of that growth. So sure, is it frustrating at times? Yeah, sure. Do you look at your record and you don't like it? Sure. But you got to block that stuff out and you move forward.
And just you have of the 5 guys who came back this week, 4 now have played 2 games. You have Sedina looked good last night. Like as those guys regain their game legs, do you anticipate looking more like the team that played against Carolina and Columbus?
Yeah, and I think we looked like that last night. I think we've played a number of good games this year, and certainly Carolina and Columbus were a couple of those. The game we went into overtime against Dallas was another one. Certainly I think the games against Florida, we played pretty good, to be honest with you. And then last night we played pretty good. So I think we've had a number of games where we've played pretty good hockey, where the games were really close. We've won 1 in overtime. We've lost 2. We've been in those tight games. Those are what we need to be in. We can't have the efforts like we did against Tampa the first night or Chicago the second night. Those are 2 that stand out to me that aren't even close to being good enough. Again, I thought for the most part last night we did a lot of the stuff that we need to do to be successful. And as these 5 guys come back in the lineup and get closer to playing to their 100% level, we'll be that much better team. So we got to check great. We got to make sure that we're above people. We got to give no space, and we got to have the puck as much as we can. And that's a formula for us having success.
And last thing, any injury updates that you can share?
Nothing major. Nothing major. I don't anticipate anybody being out because of injury tomorrow, and nobody being in the lineup that's injured right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Next up, Ansar Khan, I'm live.
Yeah, Jeff, just to follow up on that, I was going to ask about, so Gagne's good to go, and any update on Bernier of when he might be ready?
Gagne practiced today, so I'm anticipating that he's going to be good to go tomorrow. I struggle to comment on the lineup too much because, as you know, things can change in a hurry. But with respect to Gagne, I anticipate him being ready tomorrow, and then Bernier will not be available tomorrow. I think he's getting closer. He spent more time in practice, but he's not available tomorrow.
And also, is De Kaiser, is he healthy enough to play?
Is De Kaiser healthy? He's cleared to play. He's cleared to play. I think Danny is recovering from a major, surgery that's taken him longer than any of us want, and most importantly, him. And, I think he's played with, not a lot of strength in his one leg. And that's how he played the first 6 games or so that he played. And, we've just made a decision to go with other guys right now because of the fact that, Danny isn't 100%. He's not close. I think he did a really good job through camp and through those first 6 games of going out and given everything he had, given the fact that he's still not fully close to being recovered, and it's not anything that is putting him in danger to play. It's not anything that's putting him in. It's just a strength. I don't know how much you guys know with backs, but you when you do nerve damage, sometimes it takes up to 2 years for those nerves to fully recover if they do. And so I don't want to be an alarmist, but he's just working his way back to trying to get way more strength back there. And he's trying to play in the best league in the world while doing it. And at times, he's done it with one leg. And so, we've made a decision based on who, putting 6 guys in that we think give us the best chance to win, knowing that Danny's not even close to 100%.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Next question from Max Bultman with The Athletic.
Hey, Jeff, going back to Helena's question, I'm curious, do you think guys are handling this current stretch of losses better than maybe they might have last year? Just anecdotally in some of the pressers, it seems like maybe not too much panic per se, especially these last few games, other than maybe the Tampa one.
Yeah, I think we kind of reset ourselves after the Tampa game a little bit, and I think guys reset themselves, and certainly that was embarrassing to get down that fast, that quickly. The game ends up totally out of hand. It's 5-1 now. Really, the chances weren't a whole bunch either way, but it's embarrassing. It's and so I think that resets you a little bit. But I don't think I talked about this before. I mean, we got a whole bunch of fresh faces, so I hope the residual effect of a year ago or the last couple of years is much less, because we got guys that didn't live it, and the guys that have lived it, I think, have learned, and you build a mental toughness. Like it's when you go through tough times, you have a chance to have great growth, and it's not always easy, but if you can persevere, you have great growth, and I think our guys are understanding that all the tough times that we've been through have given us this opportunity to keep growing. And so I believe we're in a better position to come out of it. We're a better hockey team than we were a year ago. We're playing better in most of the games. So we just got to go out and we got to find our way to some wins for sure. But we got to go out and play the way we did multiple times this year, but including last night. And if we do that, I think we put ourselves in position to win.
And then the other thing, I saw a stat during one of the games the other night. I think it was out west that the team that had lost the first game and it was 80% of those series had come back and won the second. I don't think it's that extreme in the rest of the league, but certainly you guys have had a lot of nights where you've looked better in the second game of the series. How much of that is adjustments you're making, and how much of that is something else, players being amped up, or I don't know how much you can quantify that, but.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd say it's a whole bunch on adjustments. I think it's, guys, enough times when you lose that game, there's, we're all humans. There's probably a different sense of urgency, for the team that lost. So I would think that would have something to do with the record. I know when I was coaching in college, we'd play 2-game series. It was really, really hard to sweep teams. And it just is a hard thing, So, that doesn't totally surprise me that record is that in the West. It hasn't been quite that, obviously, as you said, in our division, but it certainly hasn't been that with our team necessarily. But I do think it's hard to put 2 games together to sweep them. So, if anything, I just think it's that heightened sense of urgency and probably, just a little bit of guys going out and executing better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll wrap up today with Ted Colfin, Detroit News.
Hey, Jeff, now that you've had a couple of weeks to watch him, and what have you thought about Juice? I mean, you guys are playing him quite a few minutes, and he's had a pretty big role here. What have you thought about him?
Yeah, he's got good puck poise. He's really good with the puck. He's not afraid to make a play. He's different than a lot of what we have. We've got a lot of guys that would be more natural defenders that are probably more simpler with the puck. And I think between him and Hronek, they're both guys that can make a lot of passes and can add offense. And, I think at times he's been really good on the power play. At times our power play hasn't been good enough, but at times he's been really good on it. I liked him and Hronek together last night. I thought it was a good pair. It gives a chance for them to start on the offensive blue line and hopefully create a little more offense from the back end. So, I think he's done a pretty good job overall.
What did you think of the Panthers last week when you saw them? And they just seem to be like a team that's gaining a lot of self-confidence with all these points earned every night.
Yeah, I would say that's for sure, Ted. I think confidence is a powerful thing in our business because how close the teams are most nights, and I don't think there's any doubt that they're a team that is riding a good wave of confidence. So, but that's they're a good hockey team. I think Barkov's one of the best players in the world, one of the most underrated for sure. And they got a whole bunch of other good players on that team, so they're a good hockey team. But we also know that if we go out and we play really competitive, if we outwork them, if we play with great structure and play above people and play great defensively, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win.
And Jeff, is it a little more difficult to snap out of this thing when you're playing every other day like that, and maybe not getting the practice time that you'd really want and whatnot?
I don't know, but I know this is what we have, so I don't think we're that far off on a lot of nights. Again, during this stretch, we've lost 2 in overtime. Certainly those games could flip. I think there was enough nights like last night that we could have for sure won the hockey game that we didn't. So, to me, it's about just playing good hockey as much as possible and putting yourself in position to win. And if you do that enough, the odds are it'll start to turn in your favor. So we got to make sure we focus on that.
Or enjoy the 80-degree weather down there.
That and the ocean waves. I will, Ted. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.